responded to these Torbs over arguments and have shown that, no, we Gentiles don't have to keep them.
Red suit or...
And I'll pretty soon. wait until January's over. They're really gonna not like me.
The devil is called Satan.
Oh, you got you.
Yeah, it's just a useful point. Anyway,
Jesus Christ with Santa Claus.
Make those textual variants because of the fact that
there's logic here.
Like, Mike, you don't understand. You see what's
bits and pieces and connected it together.
From capitalism.
Popularized. Through a poem by Clement Clark Moore, the information they would have to be contingent upon some sort of substance or mind. You're right. It's from the Taoists. Obviously. Yeah, the Han Taoists. I mean, clearly, you probably find some weird thing they did that the Christians are like, we're going to steal that and then transport it hundreds of miles across the Middle East.
Not the Nestorians, but Church of the East and all that.
For Hebrew roots, it's all about doing what the Bible says to do and not what's necessarily in it. If the nativity celebration was in the Bible, I would expect Hebrew roots to celebrate it. Merry Christmas. We have no evidence to think that they are eternal.
East and all that.
For Hebrew roots, it's all about, again, go check out the channel, The Two Messages.
Yes.
I'm doing what I can give would be great, but does not mean Odin. You can see it in the words. It's a shortening of Saint Nicholas. This isn't complicated.
I don't, and I love the the caption at the bottom. Origins of Santa Claus from Odin to Center Klaus.
Yeah.
He spelled it right in the video, but he didn't spell it right in the timestamps.
Well, yeah, I guess not. Those are his timestamps.
From Odin to Center Klaus.
Is it in there? What am I looking for? 1901. So it looked, Center Klaus. There it is. Yep. Oh, well. I mean, we all make those mistakes. I wouldn't get them on that one.
They're called blackjacks, leaving gifts for people under his sacred tree. And guess what his sacred tree was? The fir tree. By the 1700s, a Dutchman brings this Santa Claus to the United States, to America. From there, Coca-Cola claims that they took Santa Claus, added their company colors, and out came the modern-day Santa Claus.
Well, if Coca-Cola does it, that must be true.
First of all, the tree sacred to Odin was the oak. You can leave. It's in the Prose Edda. It's in Tales of Saint Boniface. It's the oak. It's not the fir tree. So Jim is just wrong there.
It's literally It's literally like the whole point of the Boniface story, Saint Boniface story, where he cuts down the sacred oak to Odin, which indicates that this was a pan-Germanic concept. Is that the oak was specifically associated with Odin?
Yeah. But they say in the Dictionary of English Folklore, St. Nicholas popularized through a poem by Clement Clark Moore, The Visit of St. Nicholas, in 1822. Now, Moore's work is usually called The Night Before Christmas. Okay, Moore describes a saint not as a bishop in a red coat, but as in Holland, but as a fat man dressed in fur driving a reindeer sleigh. During the rest of the 19th century, Santa was often shown in a red jacket, but with the blue knickerbockers as befits a Dutchman in the 20th century. An all-red outfit with white trimmings became the norm, especially after the Coca-Cola advertising. So Jim has left out a lot of the history here. He was dressed in red before this with one reindeer, as we showed you earlier, and eventually Coca-Cola gave him his modern get up. But I mean, no, it's not just that. And again, the red comes from, that he was a saint. The saint would wear red. It's like, dude, like, this isn't complicated.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's a martyr. So, like, what are you talking about?
The fascinating thing there is, I do like the fact, this is more of a side comment, but I do love the fact that the specifically modern look for Santa Claus comes from capitalism in the form of Coca-Cola. That I feel like that's fitting, given how just utterly besmirched our great St. Nicholas has become. And yeah, that's more of my
Now here's something that will absolutely send chills down your spine. If you want to know where the ho-ho-ho came from, well, in the history of the hobgoblin, author Alan W. Wright reveals that, quote, Robin itself, talking about Robin Goodfellow, Robin itself was a medieval nickname for the devil, and Robin's trademark laugh was ho-ho-ho. My friends,
Wow.
you can't make this stuff up. Santa Claus comes from Odin, and the ho-ho-ho comes from a play back in the 1600s where the devil, before he appeared on stage, would do his trademark laugh.
God!
I'm here to share good news with you. Hearts in Israel are opening to the gospel like we've never seen before. Just in 2024, on our channel on YouTube, but that's not the best part. In this year alone, over 500,000 Israelis have subscribed to our gospel YouTube channel in Israel, making our gospel channel one of the top in Israel. Through our Hebrew outreach, over 25,000 Israelis downloaded our Bible app on their phones this year alone. God is bringing an awakening to Israel like we've never seen before. And this gospel is reaching all Israel, Gaza, and the Middle East through powerful films and our Arabic outreach team. Our Bible College is training up the next generation of disciple makers and spiritual leaders. Here, Jews and Arabs study the scripture as one at the only Hebrew-speaking Bible seminary in the world. Our college stands today as a powerful testimony of the gospel of peace. In such a time as this, our humanitarian aid program is assisting the displaced families and those injured by the storm. Bringing aid to the building bridges.
Chills.
So bad. Chills. I tried to track that down because the way Jim spoke about it made it sound like it was a book. It's actually like a blog article. Let me see why this is not loading. This is the article, as you can see. And the quote he put on the screen is not in like one place. So like you can see like down here, Robin's trademark, ho ho ho, but that was not the rest of the quote Jim had on the screen. So he took bits and pieces and connected it together. The problem is that in the medieval period and in the Middle Ages, ho 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 was just a general expression that would represent laughing. Like that's just what people did. Didn't even get picked up and associated with Santa. A story called Santa Claus and the Mouse. That's the very first time Santa says ho ho ho. The idea that someone in 1905 was like, I know Santa, really Odin. Okay, 100 years after Santa Claus became a thing, this laugh from a devil from a play hundreds of years earlier. Like that's Jim's logic here. Like,
Mike, you don't understand. You see, what's actually happening is Satan actually does laugh using ho ho ho, and he actually did manifest as Odin in history. And therefore, what Satan is doing is he is combining all these different elements. His Odin self, his ho-ho-ho, his red suit, or because he's usually depicted in red tights.
yeah.
And he's combining those so that way we worship him by means of Santa Claus. Because really, that's how this mindset works, is that it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter when ho 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 or when the reindeer came into the story, because ultimately Satan uses reindeer. This is a fact. Few know this, but Satan just uses reindeer, and he uses them either an 8-legged reindeer or 8 reindeer, because it's a very important number to Satan.
Apparently.
And
it's Alpha and Omega. Omega is 8. I mean,
yeah. But so it doesn't matter that there is no actual connection. It doesn't matter that temporally no one is thinking. It's the same thing with like, oh well, it doesn't matter how they're actually in the first place. is what actually happened with Satan trying to control people to make those textual variants because of the fact that he's trying to destroy the Word of God.
It's all part of the evil plan, ladies and gentlemen.
Exactly.
And the entire time, we are feeding all of this to our children. The devil himself has packaged all of this in a way that we would just swallow it, hook, line, and sinker. Even the cookies.
What is the Satan's evil plan? So let me just run through this in Jim's mind. Okay, guys, I got a genius plan. I'm gonna get him to decorate pine trees and say ho ho ho, and then they'll go to hell. Like Jim's weird, insane logic here that somehow if you kiss your spouse under a mistletoe, say, I win. Like, what is this insanity?
I love the idea that Satan would be okay with taking reverence that is supposed to be going to him and giving it to a saint.
Take a look at this strange device that I'm holding in my hand. It's smaller than a quarter, but I
Just yeah.
I love that. That's amazing. I'm not sure I can
and
come up
milk that are left at the chimney for Santa Claus when he comes down. Where and why did we come up with the legend that Santa Claus comes down through a chimney? Let's go find out.
Oh God.
It says right here, the belief that Santa enters the house through the chimney developed from an Old Norse legend. The Norse believed that the goddess Hertha appeared in the fireplace and brought good luck to the home. Druid hunters leave a treat consisting of milk and pastries to appease this down into their chimney into their house.
Okay, so World Book Encyclopedia is really just not a good source. Outdated. It's like from 1917. That's when the first edition was published. Okay, the first reference to Santa being left milk and cookies is from a short story called Polly, A Before Christmas Story. I can find no primary sources to back this kind of stuff up. And even if it does, again, we can go back to where milk and cookies comes from for Christmas. It's the 1870s. What, did someone just find a pagan reference and then, oh, I know what to do? Like, you got to actually show the actual causal link that doesn't exist here.
right.
Almost everything that's connected to Christmas seems to go back right to paganism. Before that, but check this out. We're going to compare Yeshua, Jesus Christ, with Santa Claus. And
okay, I hate when Torah observers do this. It's not Yeshua in the first century. Most likely would have been Yeshu or Yeshu. That's why Jesus, not Yesusa. It's Jesus because they probably were saying Yeshu.
Although I think it is useful to note that like the Septuagint does translate Joshua's name, like the Book of Joshua, as Jesus as well. Turning that sigma into a Z, but whatever. Yeah, it's just a useful point. Anyway, continue.
if you can see the difference in how the enemy just so slightly is mocking our Savior. Watch this. Santa Claus has no beginning or end, apparently, just like Christ. He has his own eternal spirit called the Spirit of Christmas. He's all-knowing. He writes their names, all these little children's names, in a book. His hair is white as snow, and he travels during the night. He wants to give you everything that your flesh desires. He enters your house through fire, and he has a mystical tree. On the other side of that, though, we see that Christ has no beginning or end. He has his own eternal spirit. He's all-knowing. He writes everyone's name in a book. His hair is as white as snow, except he travels during the day. He doesn't want to give you everything that your flesh desires. He wants to give you what you need. He enters your house through blood, and he has a tree as well. It's called the Tree of Life. It's the
This is like what like Jesus mythicists do with like, let me just put up Dionysus and Jesus and go through, oh, look at all the things that look similar. Oh, you got you. Like, this is beyond insanity. This is parallelomania. And it's like, dude, like, you know, this is just like, first of all, not everyone says that stuff about Santa. If you like tell your kids about Santa, you don't have to affirm he's eternal or that he's like all-knowing. I mean, like, yeah, some people do that, but those are not necessary aspects of the Santa tradition. He just assumed like folklore aspects or like things that you have to believe about Santa. It's absurd.
Yeah, this is like the other direction for I'm going to read 5 books of the Iliad and pick out like 17 lines from them and compare them to 5 verses in Mark.
You've looked at Dennis McDonald too, haven't you? You've looked at Dennis McDonald too, haven't you?
There's supposed to be a subtle reference.
No, not on this channel. Pretty soon. Wait until January's over. They're really gonna not like me.
I can't imagine that they like you at this point anyway.
Oh no, they've been using like false information to try to defame me, and then it blew up in their faces, and so But now it's gonna get worse because now that kind of like sealed the deal. All bets are off. I'm just going all in. So we'll see.
That is the original tree, the 7 spirits of God that connect to the 7 continents on Earth, and this is exactly why the ancients believed that it was trees that.
Sorry, we were talking. Can you back up a bit? I feel like I missed a video. What
was back.
Like,
let me back up here a little bit.
Nora, that's in the temple of God. That is the original tree, the 7 spirits of God that connect to the 7 continents on Earth, and this is exactly why the ancients believed that it was the trees that the spirits lived in the trees. And if they connect and worship the spirits through the trees, then they will be able to see in the spirit.
Jim says the menorah represents the 7 continents on Earth. What is he talking about? I don't know any scholar who would make that claim.
And any Jewish listeners, could you like?
No, they didn't know about Antarctica.
Offer like some opinion on that statement. I'm genuinely curious. It's like, what do you make of it when someone says that? I don't think the thing is that I don't think that they believe the biblical authors had agency.
Hi, we're Charity Water. If we lost you at charity, we get it.
Or knowledge when it came to writing the Bible, they were like mind controlled effectively. And so it doesn't matter that the ancient Israelites didn't know about Antarctica or the Americas for that matter, because God. Well, no, that doesn't work. No, I thought of that more. No, that doesn't work here because he's saying like the 7. The connection is like 7, and the 7 continents. First off,
where we
there
land
aren't
in
7
gents.
continents. Depending on how you count, they're anywhere between like 5 to 20. Just saying, like 7 continents is what the libs call a social construct.
Anyone up for a little cancel action?
Social construct. If you look at Europe and Asia, they're connected.
They're
like
not
in a big long way.
Yeah.
This is just association fallacies. I mean, this is the kind of stuff you get from, again, the McDonald's stuff with Jesus Smiths or
Right.
other people like that. It's same kind of thing, just on the other side.
Right.
See how the enemy has so manipulated the word of God and mocked it through all of these legends. Even the Oxford English Dictionary says this about the word devil. The devil is called Satan, Lucifer, Beelzebub, and in popular rustic speech, believe it or not, is called old men. If you need any more proof that Santa Claus is definitely connected to the old
2 teams?
Norse
I definitely
god
see one at
Odin,
least.
then I don't know what to say. Because
Okay, notice the sleight of hand. The devil's called Old Nick. Santa Claus is called Old Saint Nick. It's not the same. He just like throws stuff so you can go with it, is what he's basically doing there.
Is it 1 or 2 teams?
I feel like I need to see proof that anyone has ever called the devil Old Nick. I'm not even. Yeah, I'd like to see some evidence of that.
Yeah, I've seen it, but I mean, it's not the same. It's Old Saint Nick.
Right.
Santa is called Old Saint Nick, not Old Nick. So he just there's a sleight of hand there, try to like fool his audience. And
this is extraordinary that Odin is found its way into our homes and churches right next to baby Jesus in the Nativity. My friends, not only does the Bible absolutely forbid us to take a pagan festival and change it around and give it new meaning and then offer it up to God, like some pig that we put lipstick on and then sacrifice it because
Suck
we
my
like
dick,
bacon
pussy.
and expect God to be okay with it. Well, it seems as if our early founders knew
Got two of these
exactly
assholes.
that. The very thing that we've forgotten, they knew, which is why they forbid it. Take a look at this quote by the Massachusetts
Holy
Bay
shit, one of them
Colony
had a
Government
flare.
Court on May 11, 1659. It says this.
No, they outlawed Christmas because they thought it was pagan, but their reasoning was it's too Catholic.
Right.
That
Like
was
Catholic
it.
for pagan.
It was
Also,
too
okay.
Catholic, therefore pagan.
I didn't realize this until now, or if I did, I forgot it. Does he think eating pork is forbidden?
I'm right
or
above you.
shellfish?
Yeah.
Shit, scaring the fuck out of me.
I'm gonna eat some pork tomorrow in honor of him. I'm gonna wake up, have some bacon, maybe some sausage.
Yep, I'm
Yeah.
making.
Oh shit! Help! Oh shit! Oh shit! Oh shit!
And some ham.
Yeah.
We're having
Yeah.
ham this Saturday, actually. Oh,
Good,
fun.
yeah.
Great Christmas tradition of ours.
Yeah, it's absurd. He's a anti, he thinks
just
Christians
here.
have to keep like basically the Mosaic law.
Right.
And
Yeah.
again,
Probably
Sorry.
somewhere over here.
a lot of problems there, but like,
Very contrary to the New Testament.
Yeah, he's in that room.
I'd say.
yeah, I would argue that. I don't know. Maybe we should do
I'm sure he
someone
has
out.
I'm sure he has
Literally
an
in that
alternate
room.
interpretation for every verse.
So I'm moving ahead because it just goes over some American stuff, and I'm like, I don't care. The Americans were anti-Catholic early on. That's why they were outlawing Christmas. He just misunderstood the referent here. And
All dead, all dead.
Here's what I have here. Okay.
Good shit, boys.
Stop just making it all about us.
All right,
Valley.
I got this
They have a
flare. Should I pop
chocolate
it
bone
outside
broth
so we
protein.
get
I'm not
the?
making this up. Tastes like chocolate
armored
donuts.
vehicle.
It's incredible. No
You
artificial
don't get armored
sweeteners.
vehicle unless you're outside the
Bone
zone.
broth protein, which is rich in collagen, is very easy to digest. So if
We
you
are
find
dead
protein
in the
powders
middle.
cause bloating or digestive issues, probably
That's
not
what
the
I'm saying.
case with Paleo Valley's bone broth protein. It's the one that I use the most
Oh,
because I am quite sensitive to certain foods and protein sources. Anyway, go check them out. Get yourself a discount.
This is
So if
what
I were
the
to pop it
perfect
now, I
gift
just
for
get
a man
nothing.
Looks like. So my wife got me this weird new kitchen knife
Yeah.
as a Christmas
This is
gift.
not gonna drop available.
God, I love her. At first glance, one of them looked like a Viking sword. I was blown away by its perfect
Thank you for
balance and
clarifying.
feel. And when she told me she got 2 more for free, I almost didn't believe her. Apparently, she was just going to buy one,
Anyone
but
see
when
that
they
drop
told her about the buy 2 get 2 free deal, she didn't miss a beat and added 1 more to her order
did
so
not.
she can snag the 2 free knives. I think they're still running this deal, but for a knife this badass, who knows how long it'll last.
In saying that it's not what it means to us and caring about the emotional system and all
Grab
of our
gas cans
memories.
if you see
Can you
them now.
imagine a Christian church having a Baphomet symbol as their church logo, having no clue the demonic origins of that symbol?
Okay, no one has their symbol as a Christmas pine tree. I mean, like, I'd be annoyed if I went to a church and their symbol was an American flag or a
Right.
picture of Jim. Like, it's like obviously like these are just wrong because the center should be Christ, not America or Christmas. Like, everyone would be annoyed by that, but that doesn't mean it's pagan, and that doesn't mean you can't have a pine tree in a church.
Right.
Like, this is
Which,
absurd.
if you see a church that has like Santa Claus as its primary symbol or something like that, that would be bad.
Yeah.
That should not.
Let's go, boys. I see the drop
Obviously, the cross or an icon of Christ or
on blue mark.
something along those lines. Those should be the main symbol of the church for obvious
On the
reasons.
hill right next to us.
And you
Roger.
miss the point if you don't have those things as the center.
Would it be okay because they didn't know? Would they be able to get away with it and say, well, that's not what it means to me? Can you imagine another Christian church having the demonic satanic star
Go ahead and go.
and confusing
I don't know
it
if
with
anyone's
the
on it.
Davidic star, thinking that they're supporting Israel? Would it be okay? You would do everything that you could to show them this is not okay. It doesn't matter what your heart is until you're in obedience.
So real quick, the 5-pointed star is actually used in Jewish apocrypha texts about Solomon. Like the Testament of Solomon, I think he's got a ring that's 5-pointed star that he uses to
We need
trap
thermals.
demons. Forget the exact name of the work, but like just because pagans have claimed a star, that doesn't mean the star is therefore evil. Is the American flag filled with like satanic pagan stars? Because they're
Obviously.
5-pointed, obvious. Like, this is just.
Do you have more suppressor
absurd.
right here?
Yeah.
I'm gonna
It's
jump
the
into-
upside down cross thing again. Granted,
Yeah,
there's a
yeah.
difference between like an upside down cross and an upside down crucifix, but like still.
Right. Yeah. I
Two
mean, like, I
ghillie
just did a
suits.
video on that. Like, Satanists using the upside down cross. It's the cross of Saint Peter.
It's
Or,
very,
like, the-
it's very cringe.
It's
It-
funny.
It's like
I love
Edward level cringe.
Yeah, or they'll do like the cross of Saint Andrew. I've seen them.
Oh
try
yeah,
to-
well yeah, that one's even better. That's my favorite.
Yeah. It's just like, they don't know what they're doing.
They have no
I
idea
hear-
what they're using. Just straight up plain using Christian symbols.
Okay. Now, Will, we have responded to Jim before on this. I think he knows. And here's why. Because listen to what he's about to say here.
What you've just seen. Now, I know there'll be philosophers out there that pretend to be Christians. They will defend their traditions and this holiday to their core. But it's
Who could he be talking about there? I don't know.
I love being called a philosopher. That's great. I love it.
We're not really Christians according to Jim. Because
Well, I'm probably really not a Christian. Because
Oh.
I'm
Someone gonna take that?
He has another ghillie suit here, bro. Yo, too.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Someone gonna take the BRDM?
Yeah,
mean the
I'm pretty
fucking
sure
links?
he'd be in that boat where he would think the Catholics
Oh, is that
are
in
not really
there?
Christian, which is absurd and
But
stupid.
are we Antichrist? Because if we're not, he's pulling his punches, man.
Well, at the end of the day,
Where's that shit at?
one of us is committing a horrible sin
Right
of
here.
lying for
Mhm.
selfish gains. And those are correcting him, but we're the ones who are not Christians. Like, Jim reminds me of the Pharisees. Like, oh, look at how holy I am, God. I'm keeping the feast. I'm keeping kosher laws. I'm keeping the Sabbath. And Jesus comes and says, you have forgotten what these
that
things
worth
were
taking?
about. Like,
Right.
it just
Yeah.
makes me think of that.
Alright,
Um,
fuck it.
What is that verse? I wanted to pull it up. I think
One
it's
shot.
True.
I did like there's a verse, I think it's in like Amos. I despise your feasts. I take no delight in your solemn assemblies.
Right.
This idea about you offer up these sacrifices and I detest them because your heart is not in the right place. You don't really love me. You love the glory you get from doing these things. And this is what makes me
Let's try to
think,
fly,
Jim,
to
I
the
hope
edge.
I'm wrong, but this is what I'm getting. Is
Should
that
get that
look at how
BRDM.
holy I am. I don't. It doesn't matter that I'm lying. It doesn't matter that I'm using manipulation. What matters is that I look so holy before the people and before God because I keep the
Right.
feasts. I keep the Sabbath. And that's what's really important. And meanwhile, he's breaking moral laws, which
Yeah. I mean,
Amos says is really bad.
anytime you have a person or a group of people who routinely lie, whether it just be in general or even worse about someone else or about another group of people,
Should I pop with
and
the flare?
when
Should I bait
someone
it somewhere?
points out and demonstrates the fact that they're lying, they
Right,
and
we
their
should get the
followers
bird,
get angry at the person who's trying to show them the truth.
Oh, we're actually out of the zone.
Rather than
Just
the
wait,
person
just wait.
who's lying.
Don't take it.
That's a problem. Obviously, that's a problem, but that's like it is a.
Where are we gonna go?
Where you are willing
Do we want the card? Or do we want the weapon drop?
literally slapped right in your face.
I mean, we got weapon.
I mean, we can just go outside the mountain over here and wait for the vehicle. We got a gas can too.
Whether it's the dribbles or the
It's on high ground.
the NBA is always better.
Homie already left.
I'll meet you.
Fuck it.
Everybody, this is Tom Katina, medical director at the Weather Risk Hospital here in Sudan's mountains, and that's where I'm talking to you from now. As you may know, Sudan is in the midst of a terrible crisis. It's been going on now for well over a year, and the UN has just declared famine in many parts of Sudan. Our situation here is dreadful. It's by far the worst I've seen in my 16 and a half years here in Sudan. We have people dying of hunger. We have hundreds of thousands of displaced people. My wife and I are
Those guys have a
swamped
way
with
smarter spot.
people coming to the house every day. A constant stream of people coming to the house every day. Most of them ask for work. They ask for work, and then we can maybe put a bit of sorghum after that. The question is, what do you do with all these problems? And one practical solution is we provide a nutritional
Headed
support
towards you
called
guys.
Plumpy Nut. Plumpy Nut is a therapeutic food is made mostly from peanut butter and milk and other things. We've used it here for the past 15 years. It is an absolute lifesaver. All of our malnourished kids
On a
are on
right?
it. Many of our malnourished adults take it. So I would ask you, as a practical step, if you could think to make a donation to Sudan Relief Fund, so we can buy more puppy nut to supply the malnourished people in Sudan. Thank you so much for your consideration. God bless you all.
Willing to just simply turn away from it, no further consideration, not willing to even consider what the fact that you were just been lying to and you said a lie. And that, like, for anyone who is in any of those situations, because some of you might, some of your audience could be in a parallel situation. It's not necessarily this one, but whenever you detect that in other people, whenever you detect that in yourself, you need to get them and yourself out of that situation. I have a friend who was very badly affected by this sort of life with her family and stuff like that. So,
Yeah, glad you're out of the Hebrew roots cult as well. I mean, I wouldn't call it a cult, but I mean, I know people in that they're a lot more sophisticated, have better arguments, and not happy with what Jim does. But yeah, I disagree.
I wouldn't say that the Hebrew roots. I'm not talking specifically about
There's
the
one
Hebrew
more over here.
roots movement.
Last.
But anyone who does what Staley is doing,
right?
They are creating a cult that they're a part of one.
All right, so I just started a new goal. We're gonna get to some super chats here. If you get 2 have come in since I started the goal, so if you guys get 7 more super chats, I will show you my cat. So
And that
you
tree
guys
on
go
blue.
crazy when I show you the cat. So far we need another 7 to see the cat. Otherwise, we're not gonna see the cat. So if you get another 7, you get to see a cat tonight. Until then, we'll be going through some super chats here. Coffee House Dialogue says, okay, let's add mead and whiskey to eggnog to troll him. I don't think Jim even drinks it. I mean, maybe he does. I don't know.
It's
I
pulled up
would
or
say
something.
probably not, but
Someone else
I
pulled
would
up on green.
respect him a little bit more if he allowed the drinking of alcohol.
there was you don't know this though, but there was a time when I almost would have met him. And luckily I couldn't because my daughter was being born around the time this event was going on. And so we just couldn't do it. We were living in Arizona. We were supposed to go for an event and he was going to be there. And like, this was long before any interaction, before he went to prison. And yeah, I have a connection to him because of that. So.
Nice.
Jim, better hope AI art isn't pagan. Well, it's creepy as hell. Let's be honest.
I think that there's a much better argument that using AI is pagan, or at least satanic, than anything involving Christmas. And I mean anything involving Christmas, including all the secular stuff.
Yeah.
2 at the tree on blue.
Hey, IP, love your live streams and videos. They
Moving
help me
right.
a bit off topic, but do you know of any good books against Christian nationalism or Holocaust denial? So,
Lots of good books against Holocaust denial, but not
Yeah.
specifically targeted towards Holocaust deniers.
so there was a crap. I can't remember his name. There was what was that?
That was a coin.
Okay. Well, there's a great article where someone reviewed a critique of a case for Christian nationalism. Let me see if I can find it. So I'm trying to remember. His name starts with an N. I cannot remember the name of that article. I'll try to find it. But yeah.
There are a
wait,
couple of good videos actually against like Holocaust denial. One of them is a video arguing against redeemed Zoomer. Now, unfortunately, I think YouTube turned off the comments, so feeding into that narrative that
Here, I'll put this up on screen. I just found it.
Just keep
Oh,
your into
This is
zone.
a long review of Wolf's case for Christian
Wait, I
nationalism.
might have said redeem Zoomer. I meant to say, it was a channel arguing against Zoomer's story. Sorry, redeem Zoomer. I did not mean to say that. I promise. But yeah.
Yeah, this is a good article. It's long. It's not a book, but I think it's a pretty good place to start.
One already at the train station on the
I
right of
should
blue.
debate a Christian nationalist eventually. I think I might enjoy that.
Direct them for you guys.
So maybe down
On
the
the
road
other
I
side?
can do that. I have some studies I want to use. I don't go into debate without studies, and I have studies against Christian nationalism we can use. So, Saint Nick never existed. I was prepared for crazy, but this, yeah, that really threw me off. I'm like, who in their right mind would say that Saint Nicholas didn't exist? I'm like, really? Like, I don't think we have any sources from his life. Maybe I'm wrong, but I mean, like, still, like, why would they make him up?
To be fair, we don't have the best documentation that he actually existed. If someone was approaching it from like just a general historical skeptical point of view, I could see an
I'll
argument
pick you up if you
that
get to.
Saint Nick didn't exist. I think that all those are rather silly, but I'm also like a sanctoral maximist. I made that term up. I believe that a lot of saints, which critical scholars say never actually existed, actually did exist. So make of that what you will.
Okay, you guys did it. You guys got the 10 super chats. My wife is going to bring over the cat you have never seen. This is breaking news. You've never seen this cat because he is so skittish. Here he is. He does not want to be here. He's so angry, but this is Klaus. Klaus, do I say hi?
Klaus.
No, he's very angry. But
Is he purring?
you guys, no, he hates this. He hates the picture. Klaus, say anything? He's got a very distinct meow. Right? He's like very deep meow. Kind of I don't know. But he likes his head scratched. This is hard to get. Because anytime I go to like pet him, he runs. Because he wants pet on one windowsill in the house. He runs to the other side of the house. He's like, pet me here. This is where I want pet.
Uh-huh.
There you go.
Oh, there we are.
Yeah, he's got a very deep meow. Very deep meow.
Very menacing. Yeah. I love it.
All right, I'm gonna put him down before he starts tearing up my sweater because he will eventually get very angry here. But yeah, congratulations, you guys brought in the 10 super chats. Therefore, you get to see the cat you've never seen before. This is Klaus. Sorry. Yeah, he does not like to be picked up. But yeah, that's appreciate that. Appreciate those all coming in. Where were we with these? Okay. Ho 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 starts with H. You know what also starts with an H? Hell. You see? You see? It's over. Roof that is evil. But also, hell comes from the Norse goddess Hel. Is Jim being pagan when he says you might go to hell? Don't go to hell, guys. Oh, look at the pagan influence. It's over.
I mean, obviously, the New Testament is pagan because the word for hell, at least the hell before the resurrection, is Hades. Hades is a Greek concept, straight out of Greek myth. You can see it operative in the Odyssey. It's even some of the imagery that I've very interesting, but yeah, oh well.
Gotta get up and heal fast.
Nicholas looking down, watching this nonsense.
Indeed.
I'm sure he is. I'm sure he's annoyed. I would be incredible, like the lengths to try to make stuff pagan. Again, Jim is doing the work of the devil. He's giving the devil ground. Okay, you get December 25th, you get Easter, you get Halloween, you get St. Valentine's Day. You just come back on my channel in February because he did a Valentine's Day as pagan video a while back, and we should.
Let's go.
Yeah. I wonder if he'll just
go orange.
I wonder if he'll make another one for us.
Orange, go.
Go through.
Yeah, Epiphany.
Orange, go.
That's a new one. They're now saying the Epiphany is from the Dionysus.
Orange, go.
Because there was an Epiphany of Dionysus on January 5th. And the Epiphany of Jesus on January 6th.
We're just not allowed to celebrate biblical events.
It's all pagan.
It's forbidden. How dare we?
I mean, there's a very simple explanation for the Epiphany. They started reading Mark 1 the New Year into the baptism of Jesus. family debate. Go. Yeah,
Stop
David
right
Wilson,
here.
my brother-in-law.
When the house is.
My wife and his wife are sisters. So, who's that? One of my cats just scared the other cat. Hey, stop it.
How many cats do you have?
Oh, 3.
3?
There's
Nice.
3.
Three's a
Yeah,
good
so,
number.
yeah, I'd like to do a discussion with him maybe on it in the future. I wanted to do it a couple years ago, and he didn't want to do it. I think he was busy school. Maybe in the future we'll do something like that. I'm just thoroughly unconvinced by the Torah observing stuff. I'll talk with 2 Messianic Jews before I do that debate, just because they'll help me prepare. So, warning to you, David
Okay, I see
Wilbur.
him running 115.
You'll be debating all 3 of us in my
That
head.
tree over there?
Nice.
Is the renewal of creation for Earth or for the universe? If it's for the whole universe, what about the laws of physics or the possibility of extraterrestrial beings? I mean, this is one of those things. Like, who knows? We're not there yet. I mean, it's I hope it's for the whole universe. Because I think in the eschatology theory is spreading. Since we'll have resurrected eternal bodies, our goal will be to turn the entire universe, planet after planet, into take a long time, given how long it should take to turn Earth into Eden. So I mean, I think
That box in front of the house.
I think
on blue.
I think for the very prolonged foreseeable future, and I would personally argue, just for the totality of humanity's existence before the general resurrection, the Earth is going to be our domain. This is the planet that God has given us. This is the one over which we've been given dominion. I kind of agree with what C.S. Lewis said in books like Miracles, where it's likely that it's very possible that God created other planets which are subject to other intelligent,
115. I got that one.
human, metaphysically human beings, other rational animals, which are the sort of crowning jewels of their creations and stuff like that. I think that that's probably what is going to be the case.
Brad P, do you think baptism by water saves? Yes,
move up
baptism saves.
He agrees with St. Peter.
Have you ever seen the Lutheran satire video?
Yes. Yes. Baptism saves. Haven't you ever heard of the thief on the cross? Yes, I've heard of the thief on the cross. I was there when
Last one alive is right here on blue. Last one alive is on
Yeah, I
blue.
love that video.
This guy just landed.
Yeah, so check out the video.
There's 2 of them.
What about the thief on the cross? That's the name of the video. What about the thief on the cross?
Although I will admit, the best part of the video I thought at the very end, where Fiddling is like, oh, so I bet you think that Jesus was a dog. And he says, the end credit to the documentarian trying to show more masteries and suggesting that Zwingli isn't how I'm boldly asserting. Oh, it's wonderful.
Can someone call the Inquisition? Maybe they had a point before.
I'm just saying. I've said for many years, we don't need a new crusade. We need a renewed Inquisition.
I almost agree. I can't.
60% joking, but
Do you think that
Benedict the 16th, before he was before he became Pope Benedict, when he was back when he was Joseph Ratzinger, he headed the Holy Office. The Congregation for the Doctrine of the Faith, before it became known as the Congregation for the Doctrine of the Faith, was still called Holy Office of the Inquisition, of the Papal Inquisition, which means that Pope Benedict was the High Inquisitor of the Catholic Church for a decent chunk of his life, which I think is glorious.
I just say we'll bring back the Inquisition, but we're gonna do it Mel Brooks style, so they'll be singing and dancing. It'll be, get them to confess.
I love it. Oh, that would be
Don't
great.
be boring.
History of the World Part 1 is amazing.
Yeah. Do you think baptism is essential for salvation? So, no, because Abraham is saved and wasn't baptized. The thief on the cross wasn't baptized. Not essential, but it does save. It is a path to be saved. So it does save, but it's not the only way God can save.
I would say that it's, especially for Christians in the New Covenant,
there's no reason not to be baptized.
It's the ordinary means of salvation. God can God can, the Catholic Church teaches that God can use any means of grace that he sees. We are bound by the sacraments, is what we would say, but God is not bound by the sacraments, except insofar as he has promised to give grace if we perform the sacraments, and therefore he is obligated in that sense to fulfill his promises.
Let's see the cat. All right, let's see the holy cat. Well, you saw the cat. I hope you enjoyed seeing Klaus, because he's the only cat I've never shown. You got to see something never before seen on camera. Thanks for all the lectures and videos. You've helped me with my faith abundantly. Very much appreciated. Here's your extra super chat. Love your Book of Concord. Yeah, I got a Book of Concord right there.
Oh, nice.
It's if Will looks at it for too long, his eyes will catch on fire.
Well, don't you know that the Book of Concord just straight up refutes Catholicism?
Totally, yeah, definitely. Well, I went through. I
actually have read most of the Book of Concord, just for the record.
Yeah, it's we did a Bible study at a brewery, which was amazing. Where we went through the book. We went through the Augsburg Confession and the Confutation.
Yeah.
And then some of the apology. Not the apology is really long for it because it's a response to the Confutation. But we went through some of that as well. And it was really interesting. It was just going through the history and everything, covering that, and the difference between Catholics and Lutherans. And I love that they never call themselves Lutherans. Like the entire time they're like, yeah, we're Catholics, we're just German.
We're Augsburg Catholics, is what I would often say. I've actually heard people call themselves Augsburg Catholics.
Yeah, that's the big thing. We are still Catholic. We're just not Roman Catholics. Is the cat pagan? Well, the one I showed you isn't, but my other cat's name is Hades, which is a pagan name. Another one's name is Luna, which is a pagan name. Then I have two dogs. The dogs are Thor and Loki, so they're pagan. So I have a lot of pagan animals.
Man. Clearly, you're not helping your credibility in like the eyes of the Torah observers.
Yeah, they're gonna be very angry about it. Yeah. Hi, I'm late. Can you please give a quick summary of why Christmas is pagan? Well, it's obviously pagan because
it's not.
Yeah, I'll give it. It's because Odin had a horse that was white. It was unlike Jesus' horse that was white. Because this one was one like Christmas, but it became reindeer somehow. And then they tried to hide it by adding Rudolph. But Rudolph must be pagan. His nuclear lighting nose goes back to the ancient pagans that did nuclear experiments to honor the gods. And yeah, also mistletoe. Therefore, it's pagan. Case closed, ladies and gentlemen.
The sun is a nuclear fusion machine, basically.
There you go. That's what Rudolph's nose is, the sun, which the pagans used to worship. Therefore, boom.
You see? It's irrefutable. I can't do that. I can't do the voice.
You're getting better at it. You're getting better at it. It was better than last time, so keep practicing.
I'll be perfect at it by the next time.
Talking about book suggestions, I highly recommend The Gospel of the Kingdom by Philip Morrow, written in 1912 on the morning of I think the crux of the issue, the sigil symbolism, which can be energized by will by ritual high magic. That is the magic with a K, which ties to the occult, telling as Christians who dabble in the occult previously. Yeah, but I mean, like, you have to, like, be dabbling in it. Like, you actually have to be, like, trying to use the symbol to summon a demon or a spirit. Just the symbol itself like that. Like, there are pentagrams on the American flag. Is the American flag there for evil? No. Because there are 50 stars, and no one is, like, thinking, yes, these are clearly pentagrams, and we're using them to summon demons. Like, we gotta, it's about the context of the symbol, not about the symbol itself.
Right.
And again, like, 5-pointed stars, again, they're in Jewish literature. Solomon's ring is a 5-pointed star, and I think it's the Testament of Solomon. He goes around like it's like some sort of, like, early, like, Marvel or DC, like, comic. Solomon is like a superhero with his magic ring. He's like the Green Lantern, but he goes around, he binds demons, and then he makes the demons build part of the temple. I mean, like, it's a crazy work.
I mean, honestly, this is just more proof that, like, Lord of the Rings is pagan, because there are snakes on the Ring of Bear here.
Just like Moses' staff, the serpent.
Exactly. Like, what more proof do you need?
Hey, I asked yesterday, but what do you think about Dale Allison's Resurrection book? Do you agree with his perspective? So, the one thing I would say is I agree with a lot of what he says. I don't agree with everything, because I think he proposes certain things that I think just go too far, and I can't remember off the top of my head. But I remember I do think Jesus was physically resurrected. I do think he was in a tomb that was guarded by soldiers. I just don't think they were Roman. I think they were Jewish soldiers. But that's kind of where I fall on that kind of stuff. He doesn't go that far, and so I agree with some of like Kona's critiques on him and everything. So I think it's good. I think it's very intelligent.
Yeah, I'll admit I don't have much to add when it comes to the resurrection stuff. I'm not particularly well studied in that, so yeah, I just won't be commenting.
That's because you're Catholic.
Yeah, I know. I don't care about Christianity.
Yeah, I figured it out. You don't look like Jim Gaffigan, but you sound like him, and you have similar hair. Okay, so that's why people think you look like Jim Gaffigan. You don't, because I did look. You sound like him though, and use the same color hair. So there's your problem.
Do people really think that about me?
Listen, that just sounded like Jim.
Why
You literally sounded like Gaffigan when you said that.
Why does this guy wear all the glasses all the time? Is he supposed to look old? Is he trying to look old? What's with that beard? It looks like he's both 75 and 12 at the same time. Is this all he does?
People are seeing it. See, so now we have it.
It's funny that this is being brought up again just because of the fact that while I was working today, so this lady just basically just said, "Has anyone ever told you that you look like Jim Gaffigan?"
Thanks for the response to my Christian nationalist question. A debate with you and a Christian nationalist would be so awesome. If you could get Corey J. Muller, it'd be interesting. I don't know who that is, but I'll look him up. I don't know if I've heard of him. But yeah, I don't know that one off the top of my head. So yeah, you're muted by the way. But yeah, thanks for coming everyone to the once again showing that Jim Staley will continue to lie to you and his whole audience about the alleged pagan origins of Christmas because he doesn't care about facts. He is not passionate for truth as he claims that he is. And we are once again exposing him. But this one was different. This was just not... His earlier stuff was just the date. Now he was like, I'm going to tell you about the Yule logs and the Christmas tree and Santa.
Yeah.
And,
I mean, I think that he's made a number of videos about Christmas, and this is sort of just more in line with those other videos. The previous ones seem to be his actual attempt at doing scholarship, where, I mean, not as though he didn't make some form of an attempt here, but more that he was actually trying to do a documentary style proving his point, which, again, we would just say, first off, no, Christmas wasn't chosen to be on December 25th because of paganism. Two, even if it was, that still wouldn't matter. Like, even if that had been the reason, that wouldn't be a problem, is the thing.
Yeah, for sure. So, thanks for coming on last minute. I appreciate that. I'll be on my channel again Monday. I'm going to be interviewing Dr. Bo Branson on Trinity and how we solve that logical problem of the Trinity and talking about historical models and monarchical Trinitarianism. Anyone who wants to come to the private Q&A, this will be this Saturday morning. Just become a Patreon supporter. You'll get the link, and Patreon link is below. So anyone who wants to do that, you can come out and answer every single question in the live chat. Thanks for hours. Will not.
I will not.
So yeah.
Probably
Fair enough. So all right, Will probably be back in February. We should do that one. All right, everyone. I'll see you guys Monday. Come back Monday, 8 Eastern, and I will stream every Monday. See you guys next time.
Lily Beshi is a former Muslim Iranian American who is here today to share her amazing testimony, what it was like growing up as a little girl in Iran, fearing the morality police, and what it's like now to be liberated by Christ, and how she and the ministry that she is a part of are working to share the gospel with the people of Iran. You will be so encouraged by her testimony and by this conversation. It's brought to you by our friends at Good Ranchers. Go to goodranchers.com. Use code Allie at checkout. That's goodranchers.com. Code Allie. Lily, thanks so much for taking the time to join us. If you could tell everyone who you are and what you do.
Yes, of course, Ali. Thank you so much for having me here. It's such an honor. So my name is Lily Meshi. First and foremost, I'm a daughter of the Most High God, and professionally, I serve at a ministry called Iran Alive Ministries, where we air the love of Christ through satellite TV into people's homes in Iran and Afghanistan and some other regions in the Middle East.
Wow. And tell me about your upbringing. How did you come to do what you do now?
Yes. So I was born and raised in Iran, and when I was 16, my parents wanted us to emigrate from Iran to outside of Iran, so anywhere except Iran, due to some economical challenges and my dad's business and all that. And so we moved to Germany, where my mom's side of the family lived at the time, and I lived there for a couple of years, and then my dad started a business venture in the U.S. with my uncle, who had been here for a long time, and we one by one we moved to the U.S. And about a year after I moved to the U.S., I came to know Christ. Ever since, it's been over 24 years now, ever since I've been just growing in my faith and wanting to serve, and I'm just privileged to be able to serve there and share my faith with my other Iranians and other Muslims from Iran.
So you were raised Muslim?
Yes.
Tell me what that was like, especially living in Iran.
Yes. It was very restrictive when I was in Iran. I can tell you the culture is such a shame and honor culture, and so growing up I really faced lots of challenges with shame and fear in general. If we had a couple extra strands of hair showing from under our head covering, we would be shamed by morality police, and we would even be arrested to go to the police station.
As a child?
As a child.
Were you ever arrested?
No, I wasn't, but I was always afraid that I would be. My mom and dad were always nervous about us going out by ourselves, because they were like, we don't want to pick you up from the police station because one too many of your hair is showing from your under.
And what would happen if there was a young woman who, say, had a strand of hair showing from under her hijab, and the morality police came and arrested her? She was taken to the police station. What would be the consequence for her?
Yeah, so basically they go into detention, and as you may remember, back in 2021, a girl by the name of Mahsa Amini was taken to the police station by the morality police, and she was beat up so severely that she died while in the custody of the police. And so this has been happening over 4 decades now, since the revolution, the Islamic Revolution, and people are just so scared and afraid because the government intimidates them by scare tactics and all kinds of different fearful intimidation tactics that they have instilled in people. That the consequences are going to be severe for just one strand of your hair showing, and for non-compliance and all that.
Yeah.
It's been brutal.
Tell me a little more about the Islamic Revolution. You said that was 40 years ago.
Yes.
I don't know much about that, but I have seen pictures of Iran before the Islamic Revolution, where it looked like the women were dressed kind of like American women, right? They were going to school, they were leading what seemed like normal lives. And then what happened during the Islamic Revolution that changed everything?
Yes. So I also was born after the Islamic Revolution. It happened in 1979. So what happened was Persian Empire was one of the largest, empires back in the day, when Cyrus the King in the Bible actually founded Persian Empire. And so the monarchy for 2,600 years of monarchy turned into theocracy almost overnight when the revolution happened in Iran. And people, it was actually the desires of the people for this Islamic revolution, because they thought that, the king was doing them ugly and was using the rich resources of the country for their own goods and benefits, and they don't really do justice for the people. And so they thought that the Islamic revolution, a religion, can save them, because back then it was very secular in Iran. Like the secularism was prevalent, and no religion was really being practiced as like the dictatorship, Islamic government.
It wasn't being enforced.
It wasn't being enforced.
Sharia
People had
law
the freedom.
wasn't being enforced.
Absolutely.
There were a lot of Muslims there, but it wasn't really a matter of morality police coming around and making sure that you're obeying all the laws, right? And then the Islamic Revolution happened, and they said, nope, this is now a matter of this state. We're going to make sure you abide by all of these laws.
Yes. And so you're, as someone that was born after the revolution, they just give you a religion. Like, I was born as a Muslim. I didn't have the choice to or the freedom to choose my own religion. I am automatically a Muslim if I was born after the revolution. So that's something that not only is it being enforced, but it's being impressed upon, like it's being forced on you.
Yeah.
And so anyways, that's how it turned into theocracy through the revolution. And people thought that religion or Islam can save them. But then after 40 plus years now, they realized that Islam is not the solution, but the very problem. And so most Iranians are rejecting Islam now, even though a lot of people think that Iran is an Islamic country because of what the brutality and the cruelty that Iranians have been faced with because of Islam. A lot of them have turned into different religions. Most of them are seeking other religions. They think gospel is something that they need to cling on. That's why it's open heaven in Iran. Right now, people's hearts and minds are ready for something new because they're sick and tired of Islam and what has been doing to the people of Iran.
Quick pause to tell you about our first sponsor for the day, and that is Carly Jean Los Angeles. Okay, CJLA has the holiday gifts that you are looking for every lady gal in your life, or really just every woman in your life. Their clothes are amazing. I am almost always wearing CJLA. It's a family-owned company. They've got conservative Christian American values, so you can feel really good about spending your money there. Plus, their items are really timeless. I still wear CJLA stuff that I got 5+ years ago. That really is the hallmark of Los Angeles. It's classic. It looks good in every season. Go to CarlyJeanLosAngeles.com. They've got amazing Christmas special going on right now. If you use my code AllieB30, you get 30% off your entire order. That's an amazing discount. CarlyJeanLosAngeles.com. Code AllieB30. When you are living in Iran as a child, learning about Islam, you mentioned the morality police, but what else were you told about Islam, about women in Islam? I know a little bit about Islamic beliefs, but I'm interested in what children are taught from an early age.
Yes. So from early age, they taught us in school that Islam is the only religion that can get to God. Every other religion is false except Islam. And basically indoctrinate that type of theology into the children's minds to where everyone else is in the wrong except Muslims. And so they put the fear and hatred inside of children's hearts towards Americans who are not Muslims, towards Israel, especially because they're Zionist, and in their belief that they have to be wiped off the map, the enemy, and all that. And so, as children in school, we don't know why this hatred exists, or I didn't even know, and I just knew that this was the way of life, and it was ingrained in me. I moved to and now have a totally different worldview, but it was definitely it is still happening in Iran. They indoctrinate their own beliefs and their own mindset in the hearts and the minds of the children to really
anti-Israel, anti-Judaism.
Yes.
And you've already described some of the violence that they have to endure. Tell us a little bit more about what it's like to be a woman or a girl.
Yes. With their identity in Iran, because it is more about what can a woman do for a man as opposed to who is she. Nobody cares about who she is. They all care about what can she contribute to add value to a man's life. And a lot of times, maybe it's not publicly or openly talked about, but they're treated as a possession. Their rights are violated in Iran. One of the things that's really bothersome, and it irritates me every time I talk about it, is that a woman's testimony in court is worth half of a man's. So, which really works against women for, imagine, family laws, custody laws. A lot of times women are subject to advances to their male superior at work. And so imagine